Hi, Sourav. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, Sunil.
Yeah. Shilpi, there is a light behind you. You need to, can you just slightly change the angle or something so that, because what's happening is because it's behind you, no? So you're coming very dark. Just change that.
Let me check. Just give me a second. And
Saurabh,
So,
good evening. Check me my audio and video.
okay.
Please start.
Good evening, guest and fellow Toastmaster. A warm welcome to meeting number 51 of the Gabbys International Toastmaster Club. I'm Shilpi Tiwari, your sergeant at arm for the day. I'm sure you are as excited as I am for this exclusive meeting. The meeting will be blocked for 2 hours, and you are expected to stay for the entire duration. I would like to begin by stating the mission of the Toastmaster Club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self confidence and personal growth. Before we start meeting, I want to highlight some key points. Your video should be on and the audio should be off. Audio should be on only when you are called to speak or need to speak. Regarding the topics of sex, religion, and politics, even though Toastmaster International does not put any restriction on speaking on these topics at the Gabbys International Toastmaster, we request all speakers and role takers to be mindful and responsible and abstain from expressing any controversial views on these sensitive topics. I also urge you to be cognizant of the fact that we as a club practice diversity and inclusion in letter and spirit, hence ensuring there are no sexist, racist, and any such undertones that create hostility and discomfort for members or the guest. Let me now call upon the presiding officer for today's meeting. Our presiding officer for today is Mita M. Shah. Mita M. Shah is a teacher by passion and profession with a focus on building a strong foundation through early childhood education for children. Please welcome our presiding officer, Mita M. Shah. Back to you, ma'am.
Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. That was our Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting, Toastmaster Shilpi Tiwari. Let's give her a huge round of applause. Happy evening, distinguished Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. On this note, I call open this meeting number 51 of the Gabbys International Toastmasters Club to order. We, as a club, sincerely appreciate that every time we get an opportunity to welcome so many guests and visiting Toastmasters regularly to join our club meetings upon invitation. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to share the stage with few of our guests and visiting Toastmasters today. May I request guests to please give us your quick introduction of yourself, that is your name, profession, and how you came to know about the Gabbys in 30 seconds. So, I may see there are other guests. Yes, I can see Vamsi Ala. Are you a Toastmaster or a guest? Okay. Ishita, are you a Toastmaster or a guest? Can you give your
Hello,
brief
good evening,
direction?
Toastmaster Mita. My name is Ishita Patnaik. I am a Toastmaster from Bhubaneswar, Odisha. I came to know about Gabbys from another club and looking forward to attending this meeting and learning. Thank you so much.
Welcome. I can see Kavita Karupannan. Are you a Toastmaster or a guest?
Hi everyone, this is Kavita Karpanan. I'm Toastmaster and it's been 4 years I have been with Toastmasters. I am serving as Club Vice President Education at Tamil Toastmasters Bilingual Club. Looking forward to have a great meeting on this lovely evening. Over to you, Presiding Officer.
Thank you. Welcome to our club. Zahid, Toastmaster Zahid.
Yeah, hi. Good morning and good afternoon, good evening,
Come on
everyone.
video.
Sorry?
Can you come on video?
Yeah. Just if you don't mind, can I go ahead? I'll
Sure.
just come on in a while.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, I am Toastmaster Shahid. I am from the club called Satvik Toastmasters Club. Currently, I am serving as a president of the same. And I come to know, I heard about this Gabbys club, but I did not join. This is my first meeting. So I am looking forward for a good meeting and a good learning ahead. Thank you. Over to you, Presiding Officer.
Okay, I can see Sharmila. Thank you. Sharmila?
Hi, Mita. Hi, this is Sharmila from BT Toastmasters Club.
Welcome.
Thank
you. Okay, Mansi?
Hi.
Hello, good evening.
Happy evening. Please come on video.
I'm on my way
No
to
problem.
home.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
So, are you Toastmaster or a guest?
I am from DJTC. I was a Toastmaster from DJTC. Now I'm a guest.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Tahila Sabil.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening. This is Shahila Sabil from the Millennium Toastmasters Club, Colombo. And just saw the message and thought, why not to try? Because I have met not met actually, I have spoken when I visited India last in July. I think Mr. Sourav, he really helped me out to join a club in Chennai as well as in Mumbai. So I was a member there as well as a guest. Thank you for accepting me.
Thank you. Welcome to a thing. Next, Vamshi Ala, he's raised his hand.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, I didn't notice that you're unmuted. Thanks for inviting to your meeting. I'm from the Toastmasters Professionals and Entrepreneurs Club. I'm president for the club. I saw that message, one of the group. I thought it you learn something from new. Just I joined. Yeah, I look forward to great meeting. Yeah, thank you. Back to
Thank you and welcome. Next, Chaitanya. Are you a Toastmaster or guest? Kanika.
Hi, greetings everyone. Part of the Express to Lead Club. Just here to expand my learnings and exposure. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all the guests. I would like thank you for so much for joining our Toastmasters meeting. Today we have a special meeting, an education session by distinguished Toastmaster Subramaniam, and a session on how to craft a speech. That is a very big challenge, and we are going to learn from our special education sessions. Now, there are few announcements. The members are requested to be present without fail on Saturday. We have a club meeting. We have elections on 7th December. Since all the three clubs, these upcoming Jan to June. We have a new member as a reinstated Toastmaster, Dr. Isha Roy, to our club, the Gabbys family. For the benefit of guests, let me share a brief history of about Toastmasters. The first Toastmaster Club was founded in 1924 at Santa Ana, California by none other than Dr. Ralph C. Smedley. To be specific, Toastmasters completed 100 years on 22nd October 2024, which is non-profit organization spread across 149 plus countries and 16,000 clubs across the globe. If I may say, it is an institute to practice communication and leadership skills. We, the Gabbys, is one family with 3 clubs. We meet 3 days in a week. The Gabbys International Toastmasters Club meets on every Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. IST online. The Gabbys Toastmasters Club meets on every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon IST, noon hybrid. And the Gabbys Online Toastmasters Club meets on every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. IST online. Now, today we are diving into the theme. So, what is the theme today? It's a very interesting. Write it down. And to take this meeting forward, we have someone special who is going to take you a long way. To know more about this theme, the most important role player is the Toastmaster of the day, someone special who is from Noida, Uttar Pradesh, working as a certified image consultant and soft skill trainer, has empowered over 6,000 individuals to secure promotion as interviews, excel in their visual and vocal communication. A triple path breaker and a past vice president public relation of the Gabbys International Toastmasters Club. Let's welcome our Toastmaster of the day with a huge round of applause, Toastmaster Chitrakshi Vij. The virtual stage is yours. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mita. I am very excited to be here after very long, and that's why I thought I'll ask everyone, like I ask in my sessions, to keep their pens and papers ready. And then I remembered that today we are here to listen and not to just write. Writing happens much before we reach our meetings of Toastmasters. So, why did I think of a theme like this? To be very honest with all of you, everyone in my family is sick and tired of me and my lists. Every time my best friends get into a fight, I hand them a pen and paper each and say, write down your problems. Every time someone's thinking of changing their jobs, I give them a pen and paper and ask them to write down the pros and cons of their previous or current job and what they want in future. To such an extent that I would always have a pen and paper in my bag, so much so that today, and not just today, for the last 5 years, I have a phone which has a pen in it. So imagine that's the atrocity of how much I like writing and how much I enjoy making everyone around me write. For the last 1 month, everyone around me has bickered, complained, and to a point banned me from writing. And that's why I thought I will bore all of you with my writing today. What an opportunity, isn't it? The most important part of the day, the most important person, the TMOD is making everyone write because, well, everyone has banned them from writing. So I will not waste a lot of time with my bickering because, well, that's not the point of today. I'll start with someone who's going to actually warn me every time I bicker. And that person is going to be the timer. Today's timer, also our SAA, is Toastmaster Shilpa Reddy, who's from Chhattisgarh. She's an MBA with 3 years of work experience in HR and recruitment. She is also a Reiki practitioner and an NLP certified coach. She has participated in international beauty pageants called Mrs. India Worldwide in 2019, held in Greece, where she was one of the finalists. With that, Toastmaster Shilpi, over to you.
Thank you so much, Master of the Day. Good evening, Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and guest. As timer, I will time the table topics, speakers, formal speeches, and evaluation. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red card, which denotes specific times remaining. So our speeches should be 5 to 7 in length. So at 5 minutes, I'll show the green card. Just pardon me for a second. For the 5 minutes, I'll show the green card. At 6 minutes, I'll show the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I raise the red card. And For the table topic speeches, it will be for 1 to 2 minutes. So for 1 minute, I'll show the green card. At 1 to 30 minutes, I'll show the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I'll show the red card. And same for the evaluation, it would be for 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll show the green card. And at 2 to 3 minutes, 30 minutes, I'll show the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I'll show the red card. So I'll manage all the timings. So keep up the timing. Thank you so much. Back to you at Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shilpi. The timer just reminded me that the TMOD's responsibility is not just talking, but making sure that she talks within time. And my favorite part about theme of the day every time we have a Toastmasters meeting is that everything is aligned to it. Today, because I'm attending the meeting after so long, Gabbys has made sure that even the educational slot is as per the theme. Thank you so much, Gabbys. I'm so happy to be back. I will really not keep you from writing and the educational slot. So I will hand it over to Toastmaster Jaspreet, who is a Posh and POSCO trainer and helps build an inclusive workspace. I don't know her just because of Toastmasters, but we are also a part of a beautiful fraternity outside, which is of image consultants and soft skills coaches. And that is where Jaspreet is equally active, equally participative, and equally authoritative. And she definitely has helped more than 2,000 students in acing their board examinations. With that, handing it over to you, Toastmaster Jaspreet, for the educational part.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Chitrakshi, for that introduction. Well, dear Toastmasters and guests, we have DTM Subramaniam with us. Thank you, DTM Subramaniam, for accepting this invitation to join our meeting today. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of the entire Gabbys family. A very humble person, as I found him during our conversations. DTM Subramaniam joined Toastmasters in 2012 and earned the prestigious DTM title in 2020. A seasoned speaker, a mentor, he claimed victory at the district championship in 2016, representing District 98 at the International Speech Contest in Washington, D.C., where he became a semi-finalist. With a wealth of experience delivering educational sessions for Toastmasters, he currently works as a program manager at AMD and is an active member of Elan Toastmasters and Hyderabad Toastmasters Club. Beyond Toastmasters, our guest is also an avid reader and writer. He has published 3 books and regularly shares his insights on his blog. His hobbies reflect a deep passion for storytelling and personal growth. And as the TMOD said, yes, so what he's going to talk about, all of us need to write it down if we want to make full utilization of the session so that it benefits us. So we are eager to hear from you, sir. DTM Subramaniam, how to craft a speech, DTM Subramaniam. Over to you, sir.
Hi, thanks for that wonderful introduction.
So you have the screen share rights before you start. You have
yes,
this.
but I was requesting for that, yes. Okay, hope my screen is visible to everyone now.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what are you seeing my presentation or is it some other screen? One second.
We were seeing your presentation only. We were seeing your screen fine.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. And thanks for the invite to present a few thoughts of mine on crafting an effective speech. So let me start off with a simple question. So why do you want to speak? Anyone? Anyone can just unmute and just give me an answer as to why you want to speak.
to
Because
share your thoughts.
Share your thoughts. Interesting.
To develop
Any other
communication
answers?
Whenever I'm in so stressed, if I speak, I feel that I'm a bit stressed out.
Pardon me, I did not get your
Very
point.
sensitive. No, whenever I'm in a so stress, if I speak, I feel that my stress is little reduced. The stress level is reduced.
Wonderful, wonderful. So all of us have one purpose. I mean, all I was trying to get as an answer was that, yeah, every one of us speak and all of us have a purpose due to which we actually end up speaking. So, and per Toastmasters, normally in any speeches that we do, there are only 4 types of purposes through which we normally speak. And most of you must already be knowing about them. So we would be either talking to inform people. For example, someone said, just now said, if I speak, my stress levels would go down. So you're informing. Sometimes we entertain. We see all these kind of comics who try to entertain us. At times we entertain in our own home. Then we try to persuade people to do some activity or take up some action. And lastly, we inspire people. So there's a fine line of difference between this persuasion and inspiration, because when you persuade, you really don't want them to think a lot. For example, a commander is talking to his unit just before they're gearing up for some action. Then he really is not asking them to think. He wants them to execute his orders. Same is the case with the cricket captain who is who is doing the small team huddle and telling people to do something. Then he's actually persuading them to do their best. Inspire is when you really want them to think a lot before they take any action. So that's a fine line of difference between persuasion and inspiration. I mean, I thought it'd be helpful to new Toastmasters. The seasoned ones would have already known this fine difference. So we try to do the persuasion and the 4 different forms of a speech. Either we inform, we entertain, we persuade, or we inspire. Now, so that's the purpose of a speech. So once you categorize your speech, I mean, because you're doing a prepared speech in Toastmasters or even outside, whenever you're giving a prepared speech, or at times even for table topics too, you can do this. That take a lot of practice though. But for prepared speeches, particularly, first thing that you want to ascertain probably is what is the category into which my speech is falling into. Am I informing my audience? Am I entertaining my audience? Am I persuading my audience, or am I inspiring my audience? So that's one thing that you want to do first. And then once we have decided on that, we probably want to pick a subject. So how do we pick up a subject? Simple thing. I mean, they have put in 2 boxes. Ideally, I should have put 2 circles and shown an intersection. But there's a topic that you have a decent knowledge about, and you also know that the audience would be able to relate to it. So that's how you pick up a topic. Great speakers, even they normally make even extremely boring topics for a large number of audience. They find out interesting ways to connect it and make it interesting for the audience. So that's a skill that even I inspire to get to. So, but otherwise, if you're a starter, if you're a newbie Toastmaster, I would definitely say that we should be picking up a topic where we have some decent knowledge about, and the audience would also be able to relate. But once this is done, I want everyone to do an exercise. I mean, not immediately, but this is an exercise that I normally follow for any speech of mine. I would try to write the specific purpose of my speech. So the generic purpose can be one of those 4, and the specific purpose should be a one sentence statement that I would write about my speech as to what I want to accomplish in my speech. Hope you're getting it. That's a 1 line or a 1 sentence statement that I would write to accomplish as to what I hope to accomplish in my speech. Okay. So, and I normally write it from an audience viewpoint, and I would always try to make it as specific as possible and as attainable as possible. So I'll just give an example so that it makes things a lot more easier for all of us. Okay. Hope you're seeing my screen. Are you seeing the tips and tricks that's showing up?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So please understand, always pick up a topic that is not too broad, or be very, very specific and be very, very careful in what you want to pick up. For example, a specific purpose statement might be like, it should not be like, after hearing my speech, my audience will become more health conscious. No, that's not a statement that I would pick for a specific purpose of my speech. Instead, I would make it more specific, and I would say, after hearing to my speech, the audience will know 3 simple ways in which they can keep their sugar intake in control, because that sounds more realistic, that sounds more attainable as well. So always use measurable words in your specific purpose. For example, compare, identify, name, prepare, analyze, buy, contribute, join, offer, etc. Always avoid words like, know, understand, recognize, be aware. They're very, very vague. Okay, let us do a small exercise now. I'll start with I'll just pick up a name from the audience that I'm seeing. Okay, let me pick up Sourav Dutta ji. Sir, what does it mean to you when I say it's an expensive phone?
What does it mean to me when it's an expensive phone?
Yes.
It means it's a phone that I can't afford.
Cost, sir, in terms of cost?
That's a tricky question.
No, give me a number, sir. No, don't think too much. Just give me
maybe more than 1.5 lakhs.
More than 1.5 lakhs. May I ask Aquib to tell me what is the price range that he thinks for as an expensive phone? What is the price for an expensive phone according to you?
10,000 I guess would be anything above 80,000 goes in expensive bucket, sir.
80,000. Anything above 80,000. Okay. Shehla Sabil, can you tell me what is a expensive phone according to you, madam?
Expensive phone, as in, sir, it's in Sri Lankan rupees, it's beyond my salary or beyond my expectation for the entire month.
I understand that. I understand that. So don't go to the salary and all. Just imagine there's a kid in the house and he's dropping a phone, and it's an expensive phone. Then what is what would be that expensive range for you?
I think that is the most useful tool I will need. And if it is dropped, as in
cost,
it is a disaster.
No, cost.
I have to think a lot.
Okay,
sir.
I'll go to Rishi Ravindran in that case. Rishi, can you just tell me?
I find a phone over 70,000 or 80,000 rupees expensive.
See, for someone it was 1.5 lakhs. For someone it was 80,000 rupees. For someone it is 70,000 rupees. For me, anything more than 25,000 rupees is pretty expensive, because if someone drops it, it's a costly thing for me. So the very word expensive sounded different to different people in the same audience. Now imagine having even a diverse audience, and if you are using words like expensive or understand, recognize, these are all vague, these are all abstract. So you should be specific when you are talking. That's the whole thing that I wanted to say. There is a reason why we call it as a specific purpose. Are you getting it? Be very, very specific. Give it a number so that it strikes a number 3 strikes the same across everyone. A number 10,000 strikes the same thing across everybody's head. So this is what I was trying to just drive home as a point here. Always try to use specific words, not just in your specific purpose, but in your entire speech as well. That was a small thing that I just wanted to do here. So I'll move on to the next slide. So that's a small tip and trick that I wanted to give when you are writing your specific purpose. And if you have not written your specific purpose, my request to everyone would be, don't write the speech. First, write down your specific purpose, generic purpose, and a specific purpose. One of those 4 is a generic purpose. The specific purpose is a line that is written from the audience perspective. For example, after hearing to my speech, my audience will know about 3 things in the AI ML workspace right now, the artificial intelligence and machine learning workspace in the recent days. So you can word it in such a manner so that everyone would be on the same page. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Now that I turned towards
Raise of hands, sir.
okay, Ishita. Yeah, Ishita, please go ahead.
Sir, I have a question. You said that the specific purpose should be very measurable. But what if you're giving a humorous speech? How can you write a specific purpose that is measurable? If you can give an example.
See, humorous speech also at the end of the day is a speech, and it definitely has a conclusion to it, right?
Okay.
So you are not doing stand-up comedy. So if you're doing a stand-up comedy, it's fine because you're just giving a set of jokes. But if you are writing a speech, for example, can you tell me one humorous speech you wrote and what was the purpose of that speech?
For example, I talked about a few of my dating experiences in a humorous speech. So at the end of my speech, my specific purpose was to caution the audience about what happens in the dating world. So
Yeah.
that
So
is
for such a speech, a specific purpose can be. I mean, 3 is not my favorite number, but I'm just using 3 as an example. Now, after listening to my speech, the audience would know about 3 common pitfalls that come up in that come up in the dating space and how they should be careful about it.
okay.
While they are laughing, while they are smiling and laughing their way out.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we have Kavita Karupan.
Sir, if I want to give a message through my personal experience while delivering my speech, whether I have to write that message which I want to deliver to the audience could be the purpose of the speech, or it's something different.
That's conclusion of your speech. The message is the conclusion of your speech. Okay, for example, can you just give me an example from one of the speeches that you did? Then we can work it the way we work with Ishita also.
Like I have written a speech for my L1 P2 wherein I just met with an accident and how I recovered from there, and then after that how was my perspective towards the life. That was the message I wanted to give it. But in this case, what could be the purpose of the speech? Like I have a message to deliver. That's
Yeah.
what the purpose I thought.
Okay.
But is it something different?
The specific purpose would be probably, I mean, if I were writing your speech, I mean, I'm sure you would be able to craft it in a much better way. But from the limited words that I heard, after listening to my speech, the audience should know about should know at least 2 points about the mental trauma that comes to a patient, okay, and should be knowing 1 or 2 effective ways through which they can come out of it. Did that make sense, Kavita?
Similar, isn't it? Or it's completely different?
Pardon me, I was not able to hear you clearly.
The message which we are delivering at the end of the speech is more or less similar to the purpose of the speech, right?
See, I'm not saying that the message is not the same as the purpose, but the purpose is something that you want to go back to your audience and check it. For example, you might give a life lesson. For example, there is an accident. For example, I went through. I had an accident in 2019, and it took me a lot of time to walk back. I might tell the whole story. I might tell how I went through the entire experience and how I came back. But when I'm writing this, if I want to go to see, there are 3 speeches that we do normally: a speech that we have written, a speech that we delivered, and a speech we thought we delivered. Okay. So these 3 things actually happen in every speech. You ask any speaker, they would have prepared for something different. What they would have delivered would be slightly different. So the most experienced speakers, they normally bridge that gap to a little, or they minimize that gap. But then now when we want to go back to the audience and check, for example, Kavita delivers a speech, and I want to go to Jaspreet and check with her as to what she understood from the speech. One thing is that she'll have a recall value from the speech, because Kavita has delivered an effective speech. But what are the points that Jaspreet was able to note down, and what are the points that Jaspreet is able to recollect and remember? That should be your specific purpose. At least 2 points or at least 3 points that these things can happen to any person who has suffered an accident. Okay, and these are the tips and tricks through which they can come out of the trauma. So these things you should be able to measure, and that's important. That's where we write the specific purpose that way. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on. Ishita, again, you raise your hand.
Yeah, just one follow-up question. Sometimes it happens with me that I start writing a speech with a particular purpose in mind, but the stories, they take the speech to some other direction. So in that case, should I change the specific purpose or should I change my stories not to go that
No,
way? What is the...
no, see, I think no. I am a fan of defining the purpose. See, those two are two different styles of speech writing. Both of them have their pros and their cons, but I am a fan of specifying the purpose first and then writing every line as a vector to that specific purpose. Okay, that's my style.
Okay.
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 I'm not at all discounting the other style where people are more of an artistic bent of mind, where they come, they look at a speech and then they develop it in such a way. But I'm not the right guy to guide in that direction, anyways. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. We had one question from Bindu Joseph on chat. So Binduji, if you can just put your question again. I mean, you were saying that shouldn't the purpose of an entertaining speech be getting more laughter? Yes, I think that's one of the things that we want to get out of the speech. But at the end of the day, when you look at the ballot for even a humorous speech in Toastmasters, again there should be a purpose for it. And once there is a purpose, you can always make the specific purpose through which you can measure if you have actually delivered that purpose or not. Okay. We'll move on. Now that I've said as audience, it's very important for all of us to understand our audience. So one of the, again, this is not a tip that I'm giving, this is a hygiene factor for most of us, where we need to understand who our audience are and what are we supposed to speak in front of our audience. So let us see how an audience connect happens. So first thing that you want to do when you are going to your audience is establish connectivity. So how do you establish connectivity? For example, when I was invited to do a Toastmasters or when I was asked to do a session in Nagpur, one thing I did was, because I was pretty new to the town, I just went there to do the session and come back. So I was researching everything about Nagpur, and then I found out a very interesting thing about it, that when Britishers were ruling India, Nagpur was a center, the entire center of India, and the zero milestone was in Nagpur. So I started off with that, saying that it's so wonderful to be at the center of India. People were raising eyebrows, like, how did Nagpur become the center of India? Then I said, no. This is what I have read, and this is what a tourist reads, and this is how a local feels when a tourist reads something archaic and comes back and talks. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to establish connectivity. I mean, many a times, if we are at work, mostly at work, we already know our audience, we already know what sort of people are going to come in and all. But nevertheless, I would still suggest that you go to your, I mean, the first question, if you're doing a technical presentation or a scientific presentation or an innovation sort of presentation, or for that matter, any, or even if you're doing storytelling, the first thing that you want to go there, I mean, outside Toastmasters, if you're going there, just put a question or two, try to connect to the audience, try to understand the level of understanding that the audience have about your particular subject. Okay, that's where you establish their connectivity. I mean, the connectivity with the audience, and then you try to influence their thought process. So, what is a speech all about? A speech is a specific subject that you want to give, where your understanding level is probably a little higher than the understanding level of the audience at the start of the speech, and by the end of the speech, you both want to be on the same plane. You want the audience also to end on the same plane as to where you are. Right, so that's where you try to establish the connectivity. You try to connect to the place. You try to connect to the people, and then, for example, why did I pick up Sauravji first was when I saw the as a first person, because in my mind was when I got the invite, I went to the Toastmasters page and there were at least 2 or 3 lines about Sourav Dutta which I read. So when I read that, I learned about his accomplishments, and I thought he would be a right person for me if I am putting the first question, because I'm sure he would respond. The moment I saw his name in the audience, I was trying to reach out to him. So this is a basic thing that we are supposed to do. I have not done something great. This is the basic thing. This is a hygiene factor that we want all the speakers to do when we do it. So try to establish some sort of, see, and sometimes you might not even know the audience, but then you'll from the eyeballs, you will be able to understand whether the person is interested. So you can ask a question to them. So you establish your connectivity. You can do a timeline connectivity or geographical connectivity, the way from an Aquib example, that was what I was trying to say. Then you'll try to influence their thought process, and then you establish or set up the new thought process that you want to do. Okay. So this is how the audience connect happens. So next time you're preparing for a subject, please avoid this sort of a pitfall. Okay. Now, what are the elements of your speech? I mean, the dragon picture is from my daughter. Okay, she likes dragons for some reason. I have never thought girls would like dragons and all. I thought dragons are boys' play, but then my daughter is there to break all those gender mindsets in me. So the picture is from her. So the speech elements, we have two elements in any great speech. One is the content. The second way is how you construct the speech. There is a third pillar, which is the delivery of the speech. I'm not going there because today's session is focused on how to write a good speech. So I'm only talking about the content and the construction part of it. Okay. So we'll move on. Many a times, whether it's a movie or a speech or an exam paper, content is the king. So remember the first four things here: lock, LOCK. The message there is just for your conclusion part. But remember, whenever you are writing a speech, have four keywords: L for leader, O for the obstacle, C for the characters, and K for the knockout punch. Okay, you look at any great story in the world, we have these four elements: leader, an obstacle, character, the characters that give him wisdom, and the knockout punch. You pick up any story in the world. I'll just go with very, very famous stories, globally appealing famous stories. One of them is Harry Potter, for example. There is a leader, there is an obstacle for him. See, remember, there are only two types of stories in the world. As an author, I'm telling you this, there are only two types of stories in the world. One is where the lead is born with a desire to conquer. Okay. For example, you find someone who has that burning desire in their life to go ahead and destroy or win all the laurels in the world, be the greatest man in the world. For example, I can think of an example as Sachin Tendulkar, because in that era he was the man who wanted to smash everything and all the records. And then the other type of story is where the hero is perfectly fine in his surroundings. For example, Harry Potter was perfectly happy in that particular what do you say, the small room under the staircase. He was happy in the sense he made peace with that sort of life. He just wanted to go to a boarding school at a later point of time and just read whatever and just escape his cousin Dudley. But all of a sudden, one fine morning, there is a letter that comes to him that puts, and then he realizes he is famous, and that puts him on a quest, right? So that's normally the story of many people in their lives. Now, very few people, probably business leaders and all, who they would have they would have started with a purpose, but for most others, something happens in their life, and then the whole story starts. So understand how the leader is going to tackle the obstacle. Okay, if you want to make a white shirt more whiter, no, I am not advertising Tide here. You wear a black pant so that your white shirt looks more white, right? So if the lead you think is thoda kamjor hai, then you put a stronger obstacle. If the leader is looking like a little weak, like Frodo Baggins in Lord of the Rings, put the obstacle as a very, very strong one. And then remember, never ever go to a speech and say, oh, I slept in the night, in the next morning when I woke up, I had all the answers. Never. Always look at all timeless, great classic novels, great classic movies which stood the test of time. All of them will have characters which install wisdom in the lead. Harry Potter, you have a Dumbledore. In Lord of the Rings, you have a Gandalf. So you all, and in Bahubali, you have a certain Kattappa who comes and tells even to Bahubali too that, you have to, this is the way you have to strategize. So always have characters that give more meaning to the story. And after the 5th minute in a Toastmaster speech, after 5.5 minutes, after you have seen your green card, go for the knockout punch where the lead is actually conquering. So remember, lead, obstacle, the characters that help him, and the knockout punch. Message is your conclusion. Probably that's a line that will come after your yellow card is up. But then these are the 4 things, and you will have to plan all these 4 things very, very nicely in your speech. Again, I'm telling you, always send the lead on an internal journey. Don't send them on an external journey. Look at all the movies, great movies, or great stories. All the leaders, they try to conquer their internal fears the most. It's not the world that you are that's outside that you conquer. For example, there is a demon in me which does not let me focus. I'll have to conquer that demon. That will, once I start focusing, I'll conquer anything else in the world. But my things that hold me back, or the problems within, or the problems outside, are basically a reflection of the problems that we have inside us. So if when we conquer things inside, the world outside is easier to conquer. So always send your lead on an internal journey. Look at all the world championship winning speeches. Muhammad Katani, when he says words, he actually at the end of the day corrects himself, the not, and that actually corrects the sun outside. Look at the Dhananjaya heterarchy speech where he says, I know something in you, I don't know what it is. I see something in you, I don't know what it is. Basically, what Dhananjaya heterarchy is saying is, look at that something inside you. Try to realize what is there inside you. Listen to the speech in an infinite loop. That's what I understood from that speech. So always send your lead on an internal journey. Okay, that will win you more laurels. Give a good message. I mean, message is anyways that's a basic thing that everyone is going to have. And the picture that I chose for this particular slide is the same thing. Till then, the leader falls. Till the 5th minute of the speech, the leader of the speech has been falling in every quest. He's practically, metaphorically, and physically falling, he or she. And then he changes something, he wins. That's where the whole game changes. Okay, so the knockout punch in the 5th minute is that. What is that? That is changing and turning the whole problem on its head. Okay, so that's about the content. Any questions on the content? Okay, I think you're reserving.
I have a
Yeah.
question. I have. What you have given here is a lead, obstacle, characters, knockout, that construct. That is what I know is something called as monomyth, right? The rags to riches story, where we have a hero and that's how the journey is. But not always the story needs to be about a leader, right? I mean, or it could be also about a failure. It could be that the knockout punch I'm not giving, but I'm getting, right?
That's where I'm trying to say, Saurav, right? Like, it need not always be that the leader is he or she is an all-conquering persona. No, that's not what I'm meaning. Also, even if you are slaying a demon inside. For example, I have been failing 3-4 times. 5th time also I failed, but I got the lesson. Previously, probably I did not know what the lesson was, but now I got the lesson.
No, I understood that, but again, sorry, I mean, this has always been a little bit of a kind of confusion that I have personally had. But even Toastmasters, I've seen that there's always a celebration of leaders and overcoming obstacles and coming out victorious, or a key learning. But like my district championship speech, so I participated in the district ISC. So there, my speech was about saying sorry, and someone did not say sorry, and because she did not say sorry in time, her husband committed suicide, and I lost in the district finals. And a lot of people told me you lost because your story did not have that winning kind of a thing. So what I'm hearing again from you is something which is valid. Is that the fact that it has to be a winner? Is that's what my question is?
No, sir. There is nothing wrong in going against the stream. I am flowing with the stream. You are going against the stream. To be like, let me put it brutally, bare bones. That's the thing. people normally love happy endings. Okay, and at the end of the day, the judges are also human, so they probably also like that happy, normally like that happy endings. I would really want to sit with you and understand that speech and see how we can, if we can bring in us. See, normally there's a basic rule of storytelling, particularly the Indian style of storytelling. Thank you, timer. I'm not even so I might go overtime by a huge margin because I'm taking questions also. But thanks for the advice. Thanks for the timing thing. I'm acknowledging it. So, Saurav, all I'm trying to say is there are, see, when you look at the precepts of storytelling, either from the Western side of the world or from the Eastern Oriental side of the world, normally the Eastern side of the world normally picks. They start with something good, they go into something bad, and then they again bring up something good. So I mean, when I was learning it from traditional people, they were saying you should have a mangalam, which is good at start. You should have something in the middle, but again, your end should be mangal, which is good again. So that's a very, very traditional way of looking at it. But of late, I don't know if you have read a book called The Hidden Hindu. That's actually the sort of story that you are telling also, like because at the end it's again like the something it again ends with something sad. Getting a audience victory for this stuff, and we'll have to work a lot for it. That's not the rule. That's probably going against the rule, but there is nothing wrong in doing that. So, but I think we can work on it. I'll sit with you and work on it as to how we can change it. Any other questions?
Sir, I have a question. This template that you have shared about the storytelling, does that apply to all types of speeches? For example, if I'm talking about posh and rules about something, or informational speech, something like that. So I think this works very well for inspirational speeches about storytelling. But how about other?
If there is a story, this works very well, ma'am. But if you are just informing something, I mean, I only took a posh training. I never did a posh training. So even as an audience in a posh training, I would be more happy if there's a story that's coming out there. For example, you can bring in a fictitious story there. The lead can be a male. If it is a male, he learns a lesson. If it is a female, she succeeds in life. So I mean, I'm just thinking out aloud. I'm not writing anything on stone here, subject to correction. So again, you can have the lead, the obstacles, characters, and knockout there also. You can try it out. Okay. Yeah, this will not work only when you for newsreaders. From my experience, this is a template that would not work only for newsreaders. But in today's India, most newsreaders are also telling stories, so it will work for them as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Any further questions on this template? Okay, I'll take it as no questions and move on. At least the timer would be happy. So how do we construct a speech now? Simple. Any speech has only three things: ABC for alphabet, OBC for speech, opening, body, conclusion. Then how do I start? How do I start? Anyone? Where do we start normally for a speech? Anyone?
With greetings. Hello. Good evening.
No. When I'm writing a speech, how do you start?
Okay.
Something to catch attention of the audience with a question.
What would you do first when you're starting a speech? Okay, Sunil Gupta wanted to say something. Oh, he is giving a speech today. So, Sunilji, where did you start when you had to give a speech?
The message, I guess, central message.
Okay, the central message. Okay. Thank you, but sorry to if I'm interrupting your thought process here for most of you. But if I start a speech, I'd start looking for some or all of them on the slide. For example, if it is an informative speech, I'm definitely looking for statistics and facts. If it is a persuasive speech, again, I'm looking for statistics, facts, stories, anecdotes. And then if there are any personal experiences, humorous speech, I will start with personal experiences because cracking jokes on a person's on ourselves is much easier and less controversial. So I would start with there. So whenever you start for a speech, or the moment you have written your specific purpose of a speech, look at this entire gamut of things and then try to pick up content. And when you are picking up content, This is how I'll organize my content. Okay. I'll pick up my relevant information. I'll pick up all the information, put it in center. From there, I pick what will be the background. If I'm giving a speech, what is the background that I'm referring to? What is it that I'm going to talk about? So how am I going to bring the audience into the speech? Because see, I'm not writing a journal. I'm not writing for the eye. I am writing for the ear, right? The speech is written for the ear. So since I'm writing for the ear, I have to start with the background. I have to set the story first. So what would be my background? Okay, then that would set me on a quest. Then the reason should come somewhat between the lines. The reason should come. Then I'll give all the relevant information in the form of stories. Then I'll end up. Then I'll plan my conclusion of the speech and also give up a follow-up statement, or that can be a call for action. That can be a conclusion. 90% of Toastmaster speeches end with call for action. 90% of them. Unless even if it's a humorous speech, there'll be a call for action in the end. There'll be at least some message in the end. So that will be my follow-up. So I mean, I wrote it as F because C there was not giving me an acronym. Okay, my acronym for this would be brief, background, reason, ending, information, and follow-up. BREF, brief. Okay, so please remember the acronym there. Okay, and this is what I normally give as my for my speech. That this will be my speech script map. I see people are taking serious notes. I'm going to share this PPT with Jaspreet, so you all can actually use it. So I would request you to focus on listening than writing, because that might break the chain of thought. Okay, then how do I categorize this script map? This is a technique that every one of you knows, the 5 W's and 1 H. You know all of this, so I'm not spending a lot of time on this. I'll be just giving this as a supporting reading material. Okay, after this, then I'll come to the 4 pillars of my speech, which is I have an outline that is aiding my understanding. Then I'll plan for my transitions across the stories. Then I'll think about my effective opening and also my effective conclusion. Now, how will I start? The speech is never the speeches are always circles or ellipses where you start and you come back to the same point again. So I'll have an effective opening and an effective conclusion. So how do I do that? Let me move on. Opening. We all are addicted to our electronic devices. People call them smart. Yes, they are smart because they are making us idiots. So I need an attention hook in the first 30 seconds. If my audience is not there with me in the first 30 seconds, they are not going to be there with me in the next 7 minutes anyways. So the 30-second hook, you can ask a question. You can, never ever start with an apology statement. Either start with a question, an anecdote. The 2016 World Championship finals, if you remember the winner, he actually comes out onto the stage and he is dressed in a beautiful suit, and then he picks out an undergarment and he wears it over his pant. What was that? That was just audience attention grabbing. That's it. So the first 30 seconds, the audience are in awe and shock. So you can actually use body language. You can actually use vocal variety. You can actually use a question, a quote, anything but an apology would work here. Okay, so that's a 30-second attention hook that you are supposed to write and perfect it. And the most important part is you might have 1,000 traits. For example, the timer today, she represented India in a beauty pageant. So there may be thousand other attributes of also of her, because she's an LLP practitioner. She's this, she's that. But if she is giving a speech on time management, let us assume, would she start with a beauty pageant in Greece? Would she start her introduction as a beauty pageant in Greece with a beauty pageant in Greece? No, that's debatable, right? So always plan a very, very relevant introduction. See, the hero might have 100,000 qualities. Okay, or the hero or the heroine, when I'm saying it, so they might have 1 lakh qualities, but the quality that you are going to pick up, or the quality that you are going to put at the start, that should be a very, very defining quality, and that should be useful for the speech. A very relevant example for me here is the movie Bahubali. If you remember it, if you remember the start part of Bahubali 1, you will see that this guy called Sivudu, who is actually Bahubali's son, right? That guy is shown as a very, very crass. He doesn't know how to use swords. he only knows how to use raw physical strength. That is shown in the first part, if you remember, right? And that sets the context for the final fight. When you remember it in the final fight, while the Ballala Deva is using a lot of skill, this guy will be using sheer force. And you would connect it in a wonderful way because you have already seen his characters at the start. So set the ground for the lead. That's what all great stories do. That's what all great speeches also do. So do that. Okay. That's for your opening part of the speech and setting the ground for the lead. Any questions here? Okay. Body of the speech, never have more than 3 stories, always have a logical flow and always build it up towards the conclusion. I know most of you know this, but the only point I'm trying to say here is have an extremely logical flow. When I say logical flow, Aquib gives a speech and he gives me one way, he tells me the way Aquib has overcome the troubles of his life. That should help Subramaniam also. That template should help Subramaniam also to logically come across and overcome his troubles in life. Are you getting it? So never ever do too much of an emotional thing there. Always have a strong logic across the story so that the recall value and the usefulness of the speech is much more. For example, there is this world champion probably in 2018, I believe, there was this guy who is from Singapore. I mean, I'm not recollecting his name, but his speech title was "Bend More and Seek Less." So where he talks about relationships, where we have to bend more to actually get more of that more out of that relationship. So today also we have a recall value out of it because he's actually telling us how he actually bettered his marriage. So and how we all can use the same template in our lives. So that's where the body of the speech is so important, and the logical flow across the stories is extremely important. Yeah. So I just prepared a small thing. So I know Pushpa 2 is releasing today. So somebody, you would have seen this sort of a review. Somebody would come out and say, "Hey, I like the movie, but I did not understand the thing." Interstellar, if someone remembers, that was my feeling after watching that movie. Okay. And then
every day equal to.
okay. So that's how it is. A should have come before B. Now, so when I say logical flow across stories, how do I move across stories? How do we make the transitions? There are many types of doing a transitions you can compare and all also, but for me, 2 of them stand out for the test of the time. One is chronological transitions or the geographical transitions. For example, in a story, you want to introduce a new character. Okay. For example, let me take, for example, say there is a person called Rishi. He is now moving from India to the US, and he wants to talk about one person who has really helped them in the US, helped him in the US. Just let us assume so. Okay, now he should not introduce that person whom he met in the US when he's in India itself. He should not be saying that, hey, let us give him a name, Paul. Okay, I was very scared of going to the USA. For example, let us assume Rishi is saying this. I was very scared of getting to a new place because I was very nervous as to what sort of people I would meet there, whether they'll be helpful or not and all. But then, there was this guy called Paul, whom I met in the US, and he helped me. Okay, now let me tell you how my visa process has started. So he'll tell about his visa, but we already know that there is a Paul. Okay, and he finally lands in the US, and by the time Paul comes, by the time Rishi wants to introduce Paul, the audience already have a mindset about Paul, which is not something that a speaker would desire. Okay, so you introduce your new character or you introduce your new statement only when you have made the geographical transition. So now imagine Rishi saying, I was very nervous, a visa process was happening, but still this was playing on in my mind that as to how my life would be there. And finally the day came. I took the flight. I landed in New York. And then out of chance I met this man, and he started telling me everything about there. So that way, when you're introducing new characters, when you're bringing in new ideas, I just brought in a new character. Probably, for example, anyone who has traveled to Singapore knows it's not correct to chew a chewing gum there. So instead of I telling about, I was worried about chewing gum thing here, if I after I land there, if that idea comes into the speech, and then if I can connect it back to the rules in India, that would make a better sense. So always make your transitions either and always introduce new ideas into your speech and new characters into your speech, either using a geographical transition or a chronological transition. For example, you give a year, you give a date, and then you introduce a new person or you introduce a new idea. Those transitions work the best actually. Okay, that's about it. So I'm just giving you a few things here. I'm really sorry if I'm eating into a lot of these time of the meeting. Please pardon me for that. I see the red card up, but I'm just giving you a few templates. I'll not dwell on these slides. So if we are doing a scientific topic, so you introduce your topic, you tell how dangerous things are today, then from your experience, how you arrived at a solution, and then reinforce that solution. Okay, this can be a very good transitional path if you are doing a speech on a scientific topic. And if you are doing, this is quite common. So what is, if you're talking about innovation, start with what is happening, talk about the current day's disadvantages, then highlight the need of your product and how it can improve lives. Okay, so that's about the, if you're doing an innovative sort of speech. And then coming to the, so that's about the body of the speech, the way you want to handle the body of the speech. And when you come to the conclusion of a speech, you have to reiterate your outline, summarize the speech for informative speeches. Particularly, this is a big challenge. I'm sure if anyone has done a pure informative speech, people will just lose that because there is no strong story that would keep all the dots together. It's quite common for us to forget things. I mean, as an audience, it's quite common for us to forget things if there is no story. So you as a speaker or I as a speaker, the job on us is to reiterate or summarize the entire speech in a minute or so, and give a strong call for action. If you're doing a persuasive speech, you can always give a challenge, you can question, or you can quote or give a quotation or something, and never ever lose confidence, because you would have spoken for 7 minutes. It's quite natural for your throat to feel, I mean, if you are not a habitual speaker, it's quite natural for your throat to feel a little stressed out, the energy levels to drop because you have even rehearsed your speech. Never let that happen. Sometimes our energy levels go down because the audience correct might not have happened. You would not have got the laughs that you wanted in a humorous speech. You would have not got the, you paused for a laughter. The audience also paused, not knowing what to do. Then all these will kill interest in us. That will show on our body language also, but never do that. Always show this, carry the same confidence that you had at the start of the speech or the end of the speech, and tie it around. Always go back to your starting statement. If you are able to tie your starting conclusion, there is nothing more significant that you want to do. So this is what I want you to keep in mind when you are concluding your speech. Okay, and again, a few more hygiene factors. Always do relevant introductions. Don't ever use great vocabulary in your speeches. For example, don't use words like wherewithal. Don't use archaic words like perusal, because if you are writing it, some words are very good when you are writing. I'm sure the TMOD loves such words because she loves writing. So some words are very good at writing, but always imagine that your audience is a normal, is a person with a normal or ordinary English skills. Don't expect A's and A pluses there. Write for audience which is a normal English language. Try to use alliterations, triads, for example, than saying I am disappointed. You can always say I'm disappointed, dejected, demotivated. Those things would be fine. But don't use words which are too hi-fi. Never use jargon. Let me tell you a very small, interesting anecdote from my life. We were in a Toastmaster conference. There was one lady who was a HR representative, and she was talking about, she was giving a speech where she was talking about the downsizing and all that was happening in the company. And beside me was a person who is, there is a very famous institute in Hyderabad which is called as VLCC. They actually are good at weight. They are good weight loss experts. So the day this HR rep on the stage was going on and was saying, we were downsizing the company, and I was at stress. And this girl who was sitting beside me was like, sir, अगर ये किसी का weight loss करा रही है तो ये क्यों stress में है? I was like, madam, the downsizing there is different. The downsizing that you understand is different. Okay, people use interesting words here. I had a project manager who always used to say, let us strategize. I was like, sir, strategies are for wars. We plan our lives. Okay, don't use just to show off. I mean, as speakers, we should be very. And some people will say, I had a Toastmaster who used to say, conceptualize this in your brain. I am like, sir, I am not writing Bohr's postulates here. You can always say imagine. Imagine is a normal word, right? Conceptualize sounds like, I mean to say, so please don't use, make it as simple as possible. Another great example I can give is, I don't know how many of you have read how many of you have read this book, wonderful book called My Experiments with Truth by Mahatma Gandhi? Yeah, the TMOD has read it. She is nodding in affirmation. I'm sure a lot of people would have heard it, would have read it. How many of you have ever opened the Discovery of India and went past 10 pages? I'm sure none, because that's a great book, but Jawaharlal Nehruji tries to show off his English there. It's very tough to understand. Whereas Mahatma Gandhi is writing for you. He's telling his story for the sake of you. Okay, so simplicity wins hearts, simplicity wins speeches. And at the end of the day, remember, the purpose of a speech is to communicate an idea, not to show that a particular Subramaniam is a great speaker, or a particular Aquib is a great speaker, a particular Chitrakshi is a great speaker, a particular Rishi is a great speaker. No, the purpose of the speech is to establish the understanding that you have, or to share the understanding that you have, and tell the world that that's a good, that it's a better way to live in that particular fashion. So always keep your speeches simple. Don't fake. There is this famous quotation where they say, fake it till you make it. Don't do it in speeches. Be your original self. People love the original thing. Please don't fake it. Always remember Mark Zuckerberg. He is minting money with two tools, which is called, one is called Facebook, the other is called as Instagram. Why? Because people are more interested in others' lives than their own life, because everybody's life is at one level boring. So that's the reason why. See, imagine how many times would you have gone back and checked a picture that you have uploaded on Facebook? Never. You would only be interested in the likes and comments that come there, right? So people are more interested in others' lives. Capitalize on it in your speech. Tell about your life. Give your personal touch. People will remember your story, and then through that they'll remember your speech. And always make a full circle and try to tie the start and end. That would make it a great speech. Again, the best speeches are not written, they are rewritten multiple times. So how do I rewrite my speeches? So as I told, I'll start with my focus area, then I look for the area on which I have clarity. From there, if I can make the point in fewer words, I look how concise I can be. I'll always try to have the continuity going in. Then I'll try to bring in the variety and then the impact. So I'll be speaking only in the circle that has got impact. So that's how I cut down my speeches. My mentor always tells me one thing, that the moment you give a speech, before you go and give a speech, give a 10 on 10 and then go and give it. But the moment you give a speech and you're done with your speech, give a 5 on 10, sit with the mentor, sit with the audience, and try to bring those 5 points again. Okay. Well, thanks for being a wonderful audience. And sorry if I took a lot of time. Thanks a lot. Thanks for being a good audience. And I'm okay to, if the timer permits, if there is a time, I can take up any question and answers that you have. Any questions you have so that I can give the answers.
All right. Thank you so much, DTM Subramaniam. And as you were talking about the hygiene factor and developing connectivity, I think you have been showing that to us. You've been a living example for that. You developed connectivity and very beautifully you wrapped up the Q&A session within your session. So thank you very much for doing that. And I would appreciate if any one of you, because till now we don't have any question in the chat box. So anyone has any question, can put it in the chat box, and after the session, I can share that with you. So I think in the better interest of time, we can go ahead with the next part of the meeting. So once again, thanks a lot for accepting the invitation and being here with us and spending your valuable time with us. Thanks a lot, DTM Subramaniam.
Thank you. I'm just leaving my, I'll share my PPT with you, and I'm also leaving my contact details in the chat. So if anyone wants to connect with me later on, you can always connect. And thanks for having me here. And thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for being a very good audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That would be great. Everybody would be able to benefit. Please share your contact. So with this, I hand over the virtual stage back to the TMOD Chitrakshi Vij.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jaspreet and DTM Subramaniam. I have so many questions for you, and I'm going to give you out one question just for your food for thought. And this question often comes to me because in my speeches, I motivate, I inform, I inspire, I do everything you can ask for. But there's never that one single message. Even though I start with it, at the end, everyone takes away so much that there's not one single message. How can someone just funnel it down to one single message and not get the broad message there? So this is something I would really want you to answer. And since due to the lack of time, I'm going to connect with you post the meeting. With that, thank you so much for a wonderful, wonderful session, an amazing educational session. And I'm sure by now all the prepared speakers have already rewritten their speech. And I hope they are ready because I'm definitely ready to call our prepared speakers. Before okay, so let me invite my first speaker, and the evaluator of the first speaker is Toastmaster Mukund Joshi. Toastmaster Mukund, are you here?
Yes, I am there. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Speaker number 1, Toastmaster Sunil Gupta is a working professional associated with PSU as a senior engineer. Very enthusiastic about learning new things and evolving himself, and very passionate about playing cricket and speaking in English. A believer of simplicity and integrity, today he is in his path of presentation mastery. He's doing a level 2 speech 1 elective, which is connect with storytelling. Timer, please note it is 5 to 7 minutes. With that, Toastmaster Sunil, why lie? Why lie? Toastmaster Sunil.
White, gray, purple, red. These are not just colors, but 4 kinds of lies. A white light to be polite and spare others' feelings. A gray lie to cover up one's mistakes. A purple lie to be modest or low-key. A red light for spite and revenge. Whatever the color of your lie, at the end of the day, a lie is a lie. It's a way of deceiving someone. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. It was the day I was dragged to someone's house to see a girl. Of course, for my marriage. I'll tell you a secret. I also wanted to be dragged. The girl came with a tray of snacks and tea and sat in front of me. I couldn't take my eyes off her. Beautiful, charming, with downcast eyes. I was also pleasantly surprised by her good way of speaking. I was on cloud 9, impatiently curious to know more about her. After all, I was about to tie the knot with my dream girl. The thirsty crow found a pot of water. I was asked to speak to her in private. You must have been a good student in your college days. Yes, I always stood first in my school and college days. Where did you graduate from? I graduated from JDB Janki Devi Bajaj Girls College, Kota in 1994 with first rank, I topped the college. In 1994, she topped. My head spun. Are you sure you were the topper of the college? Yes, I topped the college with 94% marks. I knew she's lying through her teeth. Can you show me your mark sheet? It's very precious to me, so my father has kept it in the bank locker. Mark sheet in the bank locker? It was time for me to stop her. I'm sure you didn't secure the top position in your college because my friend Aruna Pathak, who was in MSc with me, had topped your college that year. And topper is always one each year. Hearing the name Aruna, her face became as pale as a ghost, and she started looking here and there. Then I gently asked her, why lie? You are intelligent, you look beautiful, then why did you need to lie? So what? It was just a small lie. Your lie, no matter how small, has damaged my trust. Do you know, trust is very essential in relationships, especially husband-wife relationship. It is the foundation of a successful married life. That's why when I caught you lying, I got hurt deeply. I trusted you completely and wholeheartedly. I'm sorry. I promise to always be honest with you. Please forgive me. Listen, trust is just like a glass. Once broken, it can never be the same again. And your lie has broken my glass. We cannot build a strong bond of love and commitment on a shaky foundation. So, I can't make you my life partner. I'm sorry too. Ladies and gentlemen, avoiding lies and telling the truth is the cornerstone of trust, integrity, and meaningful relationships. On a deeper level, people know when you lie, and then you have to be embarrassed. If you constantly lie to those you actually care about, it will certainly erode your relationship. Unlike her, why not stop lying and embrace authenticity to save your relationships? Please be clear, please be real, and use your abilities to foster deep personal connections and meaningful bonds. The next time you are about to lie, just ask yourself, why lie? Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sunil. Why lie? My God, you have made me think about a lot of things, and I'm wondering why tell the truth. But yes, thank you so much for that wonderful speech. Let's go to us, the second speaker of the day. Before I invite the second speaker, Toastmaster Smruti, who's the evaluator of the second speaker. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Thank you. With that, Toastmaster Sheena Chaudhary. She's a social media strategist and GCC marketing lead at Kendall India. She has been in the industry for more than a decade, but the fun part is that she is all about yoga and wellness and has her own studio wellness space called Turiya. And that's intrigued me the most. With that, she's attempting level 5, project 1, managing successful events. Her speech timer, please note, is 5 to 7 minutes. Speech title will come when I say Toastmaster Sheena, a tale of purpose-led events. A tale of purpose-led events, Toastmaster Sheena Chaudhary.
Toastmaster Chitrakshi, can you please acknowledge if I'm visible and audible?
Yes, you are.
You all love events, weddings, or Diljeet Dosanjh concert, which is happening tomorrow. Yes.
Toastmaster Sheena, we can hear you well when you're closer to your screen, but not really well when you're further away.
Okay, how about this? Is this better?
Much better.
Thank you. All right, we'll get this started again. Do you all love events, concerts, or Diljeet Dosanjh event that's happening tomorrow? Come on, balle balle, it's time for some fun. Today, I'm not going to show you some dance moves, which I'm really interested to show, but we're going to discuss about how to manage successful events. If you all can come on the camera, I would help you to get those tickets for tomorrow. Thank you. And I'm so happy Ishita immediately believed me as soon as I said it. I'm going to help her with the tickets. And I have a direct contact. That's what you get when you work for events and you gather that kind of experience. Question for you. What was the last event you attended and what was the feeling you got from that event? Anybody can answer or put it in a chat. The last event you attended and what was the feeling? Ishita, would you like to try?
The latest event I attended was the division contest of my division. And the feeling was extraordinary being part of a community. Yeah.
Awesome. A feeling of belongingness, community. And with that, I welcome all of you and good evening, Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and my friends. As I share the tale of purpose-led events, I could easily have curated a speech on events. But my consciousness said, please add purpose. And we have heard purpose a lot from our educational speaker as well. Another question for you. They're going to be question answer a lot in my speech, so be ready. Do you seek purpose every time you work on a project? In office, at home? Do you seek purpose? I'm not saying we always go in line with purpose, but do you feel that it has to have purpose?
I feel if there is a purpose and it is clear, that gives your why very clearly and that drives you towards accomplishing the goals.
Perfect. So that means it gives you a sense of accomplishment. It gives you a vision. And I think, Ishita, you're definitely going to win a ticket from me because nobody else is answering. So 100% I'm going to assist you for that ticket. But I have started curating these events at the age of 10. Although the project, when I looked at, like after finishing all my level 4s, I said, this is going to be my project because I have been doing this day in, day out. It's going to be very easy for me. But it wasn't. So here, I'm not going to talk about the success. I'm going to share my failures so that you will know what not to do when you create your events. So again, going back to when I started curating events in early 2000, there was a time I live in a very small hometown. I work in Bangalore, but I come up come from Kurukshetra, a land of Mahabharata. We come from very small hometown, and having a cable was a luxury. So that was the time I got to see Cartoon Network for the first time. That was the time I saw Powerpuff Girls and Dexter and then Snow White. And then you must be wondering, come on, we were discussing events. How come the Snow White character is popping up in the head? So the Snow White is the first screenplay or an event I curated at that age of time. I was so much curious when I saw the Snow White and I started writing. So, what I used to do, I'll come back from school and I'll look at the 30 minutes episode and I'll start writing those script. And I thought I will direct the whole play and will recreate in front of all the neighborhood. So, that was my first event. And the whole purpose was not to just to spread joy, but to eat samosa and chai, because that was the promise given by my mom. You do something, I make sure that everybody will be fed. So my purpose as a 10-year-old still had a purpose in my mind, that I will go with, of course, spreading joy and happiness. That was unsaid and I didn't know that I was doing it. But of course, having a samosa was one of my purpose then. Fast forward 15 years, I didn't know I would be doing events as a profession as well. And I and my partner started an event adventure startup in 2017. So everybody asks us, when are you having a baby? We always say our startup itself a baby. So it's almost 6 years having this startup, and we curated more than 100 events. So now you will know, to reach to that the successful event, we definitely would have failed in 50 of the events. That means we got bad feedbacks, we were literally pushed sometime, we were actually being given very harsh feedback verbally also at times. Living in India, you might have seen such situations. So when I have seen everything, so I thought, why not to share what is important for not to get it wrong. So again, a question coming for you. 2025 is coming. Most of you would have been in the planning meetings for the next quarter or the next year. Do you like those boring, long planning calls? Yes, no? Nobody likes it, right? Nobody likes it. It's such a pain. But you're gonna have those. They're very important, super duper important. The more you plan, this is my learning. The more you plan, detailed planning, and have your team from the beginning. Please do not delegate towards the end. Even if the smallest of role you think that can be even happen on the event day, let them throw the responsibility, they do it. Do not have that kind of a mindset. Please bring everybody in the planning call. Make it nice. Take them to farm, take them to open places where the more ideas can flow in. So that's your creativity part that you can bring in. Now, and important is why you're doing it. This doesn't come so often because we are very much enthusiastic, let's do this, but important to why and the purpose, which was reiterated enough by our education speaker as well. Another short thing I would say, the logistics. The logistics are again very important. Have backups. If you have one generator, have two. If you have one artist, have two. If you have something which you can do it on a standby, have it. Trust me, you will thank yourself on the event day. That happened, very funny story. That happened when we had a camping at middle of nowhere. When I say middle of nowhere, that's the place name, middle of nowhere. So you cannot reach to that place. And we call the barbecue guys. They got everything and they forgot the barbecue. We have 200 people to be fed, no barbecue. But I had 2 barbecue people coming in. That other person came late, but somehow we survived that event because we had the backup. Another thing most important is your team. You can rely on the team so that you can delegate the responsibility and start having the follow-up calls. So we have done a couple of mistakes, me and my partner, and we realized the more you communicate, the better it is. Remember the times when your managers hid information or your friends hid information. A lot of miscommunication happened. So what I started doing is I communicate to my team to the extent that they are the owners, they are the CEO of that event so that they do not miscommunicate my end customer. In a nutshell, if I want to plan my successful event, I will look into 5 things: plan, detailed plan with purpose, get your team ready, have your logistics well planned, and schedule some follow ups leading to the event. And not to forget, if you want to build your own tale of purpose led events, you need to have joy, happiness, and samosa. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Chitrakshi. Thank you.
Please put your hands together for the second speaker. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sheena. The favorite part about your speech was the logistics and the backup, because I feel backup in life everywhere is so important. And now is time for all of you to enjoy a little bit of a backup. Okay.
Chitrakshi, we are behind time, much behind time. So I think, Aquib, we may have to drop the TT section. Is that okay? Yeah, both Aquib and I will lose our roles, but we will live with that. Okay. Next, we'll always have another meeting. Yeah.
That's 2 less introductions
We
to
can
me.
take, we can take a 5 minutes break and then come back and do the evaluation and then wind up. Otherwise, we will be horribly over time.
Okay. Finally, we have reached the point where it is all about me. That means it's about the break and then 2 less introductions. So everyone, let's take a break for 5 minutes and we'll be back exactly after 5 minutes. We have about 30 seconds to go, everyone. So if you're ready, let's get back. Oh, wow. You didn't need a break, did you, Mita? I can see you're so excited about the sessions. You don't need a break at all. Feels like I'm the one insisting we need a break. Okay, are we all back? All the speakers and the evaluators? Okay, evaluator 1 is very particular. He is back. Thank you so much. We need you the most. Is the first speaker here? Toastmaster Sunil, are you back? Yes. Oh, you're here. Sorry, I missed out on seeing you. Okay, so we have the first speaker and the first evaluator. So our break is officially over. Now, let me introduce the evaluator first, who is Toastmaster Mukund Joshi, who's a finance professional working for Capgemini as a director. He is currently the Vice President Education of the Gabbys Toastmasters Club, loves reading, public speaking, and currently is learning golf. My God, that requires a lot of patience. And with that, over to you, first evaluator, Toastmaster Mukund.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Can you please spotlight the timer as well before I start? And the speaker, I guess. All right, here I start. Toastmaster Sunil, if I have to summarize your speech, I would say this: profound message with a very, very simple story. You used your story itself as a speech. In fact, I was spellbound and impressed with your narration style. Very well done. Let me dwell a little bit more into your speech. Your speech, in your opening, you set the ground. A lie is a lie. Different types of lies doesn't matter, but a lie is a lie. It deceives someone. And you laid the ground for your story with such a simple but profound opening. And then came the body of your speech. An extremely simple story. You go to see a girl for marriage, the girl lies, and you catch her lying. That's the story. Very simple story, but very profoundly you brought out everything that you wanted to say. In fact, it was so well narrated, in fact, enacted, not just narrated, you enacted the story in the form of a role play, taking turns, one as you yourself speaking, and then the girls speaking, etc. And your narration style, was so brilliant. It had all the analogies and excellent usage of English language. I was in cloud nine. They looked white as and they looked as white as a ghost. Trust is like a glass. The person was lying through her teeth. This excellent usage of English language was very, very evident in your speech. And so was your conclusion. Very profound messages. Lies erode relationships. Embrace authenticity. Be real. Truth fosters deep relationships. And from such a simple story, you were able to come out with such profound messages. That's the beauty of your storytelling, Sunil. Totally impressed, and kudos to you for that. Now, if I have to tell you some recommendations, and I think you put all lies in one bracket. It is to deceive, not necessarily. There are some white lies that you say to save somebody, which is a good lie. That's why it's called a white lie. It doesn't harm anybody. It's a lie, right? But it doesn't harm. You are deceiving, but you're not harming anybody. So that is one thing I wish you had taken note of. The second one is the time. I think you didn't reach the red card. Now you're an established speaker. I think you should make full use of the time that is given to you and appropriately give your speech. And lastly, maybe some pronunciation needs to be improved from your side. Maybe you may want to work on that. Having said that, an excellent speech, excellent. You'll turn out to be an excellent narrator as a storyteller. Thank you, and back to you, the Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mukund. That was really good an evaluation. I have a question. Have you taken up the grammarian role a lot? Because your evaluation was so spot on, but it had all the things that a grammarian definitely needs. So thank you for that evaluation. You must have taken that. Okay, with that, let's bring on the second evaluator and the second speaker. Mita, could you help me spotlight them, please? In the meantime, I will introduce the evaluator. Toastmaster Smruti is an experienced B2B sales professional and a certified soft skills trainer. After a decade in the industry, she is currently pursuing a full-time master's degree in the US. A mindful introvert who's on a journey to becoming a profound speaker, she is serving as the VP membership of Gabbys Online Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster Smruti, please, the stage is all yours for evaluation of speaker 2, Sheena.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Chitrakshi. A tail. I was just focusing on the tail, but it led to the meaningfulness of joy, happiness, and samosa. I really loved the conclusion part there. Toastmaster Sheena, today all of us were expecting that we will get to know something about organizing, leading an event. And indeed, you helped us to understand the tricks and treats of organizing and leading an event successfully, even though you had your own flaws in place. Today, your particular speech in this arrangement was quite technical. Let me highlight how, and which touched me a lot. When you see a lot of black boxes in front of you and you have a lot of questions to put and only a single person answering your question, I can imagine what a nightmare it can happen, or it would happen for any Toastmaster delivering a speech. However, having said that, you beautifully managed it. You did pick that individual and try to have a conversation. Then you also added a humor part saying, oh, only one person is answering. Maybe she is expecting a ticket from me. You really managed it well. I was literally, my fingers were crossed that I don't want to write awkward silence in my evaluation. Please don't make me write it. And you really nailed it. You didn't allow me to write that. That's very beautifully handled. And that's quite technical in nature. So kudos to the same. Second is the relatability part. In your speech itself, quite impromptu, you linked it to the educational session of bringing purpose to it. How intelligently you bridged the gap there. Love that particular part. It shows your presence of mind in delivering your speech. You know that what you are talking. Other than that, again, as I said, the tips and tricks which are highlighted, like the logistics, backup, the team communication, is very good. Now, coming to the core objective of the speech, you might have also read it thoroughly. There were two objectives to it. The first purpose was the purpose of your project, which was quite indeed you met by letting us know the planning and the organizing part. The second purpose was the crucial purpose of the speech, where we were expecting a particular event where you can highlight your experience. You did give me instances of a concert, company, a barbecue event, evening, which you have highlighted. So can we do something? Can we pick one event and we can reflect upon how did Sheena manage the logistic part? Where did she got a chance to communicate within team? Because I was wondering, okay, now we're talking about company. Oh no, it's a concert. Oh no, it's a company event. So things were a bit haywire there. If you get a chance to speak about such an event next time, let's bring this specifics which will help us to bridge the gap and do justice to the project objective. Overall, thank you so much for this beautiful speech and your nuggets on joy, happiness, and samosa. Back to you, Toastmaster Chitrakshi.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Smruti. I hope you're not doing it for an extra ticket or the ease of getting a ticket from Sheena. Oh no, Sheena, now you have two people to give the ticket to, and one, remember the TMOD who introduced you, huh? And also called your evaluator. So I'm the responsible one here. Thank you so much, evaluators and speakers. They were all, today's session was really good. The only thing that I did not like was, as a TMOD, I hope that the ban on me from my family about making everyone right would get revoked. But clearly here, because of constraint of time, I did not get a chance to make any of you write anything at all. So I'm feeling a little upset about it, but I have 2 minutes. I'm going to quickly ask you a simple question. And I would want you all to be as involved as possible. How many of you overthink? Quick raise of hands. How many of you overthink? I know I don't. So how many of you overthink? A lot of you, right? Most of us, most of you here overthink. Now, a very small research says if you overthink, or whenever, even if it is once or twice in a month, you overthink, just shut all your thoughts out, especially the tick, tick, tick of your phone. Stop all of that. Pick up a pen and paper and write down your thoughts. And you will realize that by the time you're done writing, even if you're writing, oh, today is Monday, I hate today, what is the day, why is it like this, Monday is blue, doesn't matter, just scribble, just write, put pen to paper and just start writing your thoughts. I can guarantee you, and try it next time, anytime you're feeling stressed, just write down your thoughts. You will either know that there's no problem or you will find a solution. Either ways, the overthinking will stop. So whenever you feel too stressed, very anxious, all palpitations, don't know what to do, forget the stress balls, forget all of that. Just put pen to paper and write down your thoughts. Whether it is just to schedule a meeting, oh my God, so many things to buy, just write it down. Since all of us have been born at an era or a stage where we've been taught to write very early in school. And the first thing that we do is put pen to paper or a pencil to paper, whether it is cursive line or slanting lines or straight lines, whatever it is, that's what we learn. So our mind is habitual of writing, and that's the best way to act and remember things and to always clear your head. So next time you don't know what to do, remember the TMOD who really nagged you about writing and go back to writing and remember pros and cons, goods or bads, what's happening doesn't matter. Just put it all to paper. With that, thank you so much, everyone. Handing it over to the PO. Toastmaster Mita, stage is all yours. Toastmaster Mita, you're on mute.
Yes. Thank you so much, our Toastmaster of the day. Such a wonderful topic, and really, I have written everything, whatever today education session was happening. I enjoy writing, and what you said, yes, I do writing. And even I write always, instead of technology, I just always keep my book and pen along with me, or pencil and a pen together. So I always enjoy your theme today, and it was really interesting with the education session as well as your theme. Both were merged, and it was a wonderful session. I enjoyed thoroughly. Now I just request Timer to just check it out, like what are the timings speaker has taken. Speaker and evaluator, Timer, please can you share the timing?
Yes, ma'am. I have shared the timer reports on the chat box. Everyone is qualified except in the speech section, Toastmaster Sheena. She doesn't qualify for that.
Yeah, you can just
Rest.
share.
Yeah, I have shared in the chat box.
Okay.
The sheet.
Sure. And check everyone. The timings is already shared. Now, can we have a, so then I think evaluation, both are
qualified, yes.
Yeah, then we have voting only for evaluation because the speaker is only the one. And there is no role takers. Okay. Do we have this one? Voting?
Toastmaster Mita, we don't have any polls today, so we can
Okay,
proceed.
fine, no problem. So thank you for all the role takers. Thank you, our distinguished Toastmaster Subramaniam, for his wonderful education session. It was a very learning part, and we learned a lot of things for our next upcoming international speech contest. Thank you for the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you for speakers as well as the evaluators for giving their best speeches and best evaluation. Now, I request the guests to share your experience. So, I think we have a Kendall, then Ruxana, Hanif, Wamsi, Alia. Can you give your feedback how you felt about today's session?
Hi, I'm Ruxana. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible. Can you talk?
It was really a nice session. Actually, I learned a lot from Mr. Subramaniam. It was really wonderful hearing him. And this is my first Toastmaster meeting.
You are a guest?
I'm not a very good public speaker, so I thought I should be one among you to become a good stage presenter and all that. That's the reason I'm here.
Okay, so you are a guest. You are not a Toastmaster, right?
No, I'm not a Toastmaster, but I would like to be a Toastmaster soon.
You can contact our VP membership, like Smruti, as Smruti is in this thing. You can reach out to her.
Can I? Okay, yeah, sure. I think I have somebody's name. I think I have Saurav's number, I guess.
No problem. Then fine.
Yeah, okay. Done. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Wamsi, Alia? Can I have your feedback? How you felt today's session? Okay, I think he's not available. Candle? Okay, our speaker, Sheena?
I think I already exceeded time, so I should limit.
Okay,
so this
no
is what
problem.
happened when you take area director roles and you give one speech in 6 months. So definitely for me, I need to tailor it down, but it's always good to come to Gabbys. I think I personally enjoy coming to the club and I'm in touch with Sourav. So I think it's amazing experience to be with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome to always. Priya? Can I see Priya as a guest or a Toastmaster? Priya M, are you available?
Yeah, I'm available. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, but not
Okay,
visible.
sorry, I'm traveling and I can't be on video, but definitely I can say a feedback about the meeting. And this is the second time I'm attending the Gabbys Toastmaster meeting, and I'm from Scarlet Speakers Toastmaster Club, and I'm here to cheer up Sheena, who's from the same club, and she did an amazing job, except the timing. But yes, there's always a learning, and Sheena, you did a good job, and proud of you as well, and all other speakers as well. But initially, I had some technical glitch, and I regret I couldn't attend the education session. But then, if there's a recording, I would definitely love to hear what all I missed. Right. So, and it's always fun to be with any kind of speech which has been given, or even for the table topics, etc. Because I've been in the learning curve as well, along with Sheena, and it's great so far, and looking forward for more opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a visiting Toastmaster, Noor Mohammed. Are you there? Okay, no problem. So let's give a huge round of applause to all our guests and keep joining our club meetings. Now we will see you.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I had a doubt. I just wanted to know one thing. Like as Subramaniam sir was telling, we can see the recording. We can get the recording of his speech. So is it allowed for the guest also to get it?
I'll just let you know. We will let you know.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, by this now.
Sorry, Mita, 1 second. Yeah, the recordings will be uploaded on the our YouTube channel, so you can follow our YouTube channel and you can watch the recordings there.
YouTube channel is in Gabbys in Toastmasters name?
TMC, the Gabbys TMC.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, by this we have come to an end, and see you all on 7th Saturday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon IST in hybrid mode. And by this I adjourn today's meeting. Thank you all.